Like it seemed like more and more I talk about these things is like you, you never really know which direction to go with things, and I just want to keep it real with everybody that's out there that's maybe struggling and trying to figure out where to go with things, because the biggest thing is like purpose. If you don't have purpose, you don't have no drive, no will to do anything. And to be completely honest, like purpose isn't found by chasing it. It reveals itself when you align yourself with what makes you feel alive. Let's talk about it. I think when you have purpose, you are goal driven, you have ambition, you have discipline. These are like key things you need in your life. I think at one point in time, you do fall off track, but you're gonna get right back on. Like, like that's the biggest thing is like knowing you could fall off and get right back on, right back on track. When you got a plan, when you write down your plan in your notebook, not just in your phone notes, not just on your laptop, not just on your computer, not just an alarm, like when you actually write it down in a notebook and can go back to it and remember what you wrote and see what you wrote and follow through with that plan. That's purpose. That's purpose to me. Purpose is bigger than monetary gain. Purpose is bigger than really what you see in front of you, right? I think we have goals and aspirations to be big. Maybe not always famous, but big, right? Want to make a big impact on our friends and family and people around the world. Or maybe you don't have those dreams and aspirations to do that, but you still want to be able to be impactful or inspire. That's one of the biggest things to ever do on this earth. So having purpose. When you have purpose, distractions are going to come every single direction. And I speak for myself when I say this. I think the worst distractions have to be like lustful things. Lust will get your mind in the different directions that you don't really care for, but it just draws you in. And it might be something you're not even thinking about, and it just draws you in. For an example, you might have an Instagram, you might have a Snapchat, you might be on YouTube, whatever it is, and it's a lot of provoking type of content from, women half naked or not fully clothed, or thirst traps, from videos to pictures, and that goes on daily. I remember years and years ago, girls were scared to post pictures. It had to be perfect. Now it's like they went from posting a few pictures to videos to, it's endless. Again, it's not just the women things. I'm just giving you an example how quick things progress. So if you're a male out there and you're distracted by lust, ask for guidance and strength when you're being tested the most. Because it's tough to do it by yourself. You're not the strongest person in the world. I'm not the strongest person in the world. And you're going to need help. But that's just one minor thing. Again, when you have purpose, you don't want any distractions. And distractions are like the number one thing I wanted to talk to y'all about is like distractions. When you have a purpose in life, you're going to have distractions. It's not just the one I just said, but it's distractions from everywhere. It's like you feel like you being pushed and pulled every different direction, and you start to realize, you start thinking like, do I have enough time to do this, or I'm not gonna have enough time to do this. It's a lot of temptation going on because of distractions, instead of just understanding the flow and being like, yeah, I do have time for this. I don't need to rush this. I don't have to do this, you know? And that's another thing. Distractions was one thing, but being able to say no when it needs to be said. Because for some reason, when you have purpose and you have a goal or you're driven to something, it's like everybody wants your time. But when you had all the time in the world, nobody was texting you back, nobody was calling you back, nobody wanted to hang out. You ain't had no money. Excuse me. But again, having that purpose, when you have purpose, there's going to be distractions. And with distractions, you need to be able to say no, to stand on those no's and understand the reason why you're saying no, and not have that soft spot of like, oh, I should have said yes. Because at the end of the day, if the tables are turned, if there's a 50-50 chance that they would say no, they probably would say no. There's a 50% chance they will say no. So with that being said, just have purpose. Have purpose. Be able to avoid distractions. And be able to say no. Like, I don't know. That's just the main thing that I feel like I think about. Like when it comes down to like what people really care about. Like, and maybe that's just me. Like, let me know down below, because I know a lot of y'all are saying, that I didn't mean to get too deep, but you feel me? What it is, man. Let me know.